Awesome. Welcome to Sunday night. So D, I don't have it in front of me, but I know it is. I have lots of dreams.
Mhm.
How is that going this last week?
Well, I got to use it, remember?
You did.
It was good. I had an answer.
Perfect.
I had
I
an
like it.
answer.
So what are you grateful for, D?
I'm grateful that with your help last week and things that I've managed to pull myself out of the hole or whatever I was in,
Cool.
um, and managed to keep that going. So
Perfect. Perfect. That's awesome. What are you struggling and challenged with this week then?
no, I think I'm good. I don't know if I've mentioned to you. I have been considering I've been considering whether I should withdraw my application or not, but then I've decided not to,
Hmm.
and
Cool.
that then I'm just going to continue on my path, and I'll end up where I end up.
I think that's real important for everybody who's watching the replay to acknowledge as well is that's life.
Yeah,
We have to let life flow the way that it's meant to flow and be content with the flow that happens because at the end of the day, it is what it is, and it's all happening so that we can be the better version of ourselves tomorrow. Um, and so it's really making sure that you you do what you can to work hard and push forward as you do, but also acknowledging, hey, see what happens. If at the worst side of the spectrum, if I'm meant to die tonight, I would die tonight. If I'm meant to solve cancer and cure cancer and whatever it is, I'm meant to do that, and that will end up happening. I'm going to work towards my dreams of what I have, and it's just making sure that we always stay focused on that and realize tomorrow is not always promised. So let's have fun today and work our hardest today, so that tomorrow, when we do get tomorrow, if we get tomorrow, then tomorrow can be the next best day that we have. Um, so yeah. All right. So let's talk about, because I know it's been a thing that's been brought up a few times. Let's talk about you and Kim, and let's see how we can kind of conquer um, that ship as such.
yeah. Well, that's we um, after obviously we had many discussions,
Mm,
many discussions. I actually thought, I think I said when we were sitting at the dinner table, we were talking about it, and I had said that that I had the physio,
mm,
and that then they had said that um, that I could potentially be cleared in 6 weeks or whatever to start running again and everything. Oh, and if however long and blah blah blah, and which is good because police recruitment are putting pressure on me. I thought at the time that his face dropped, and then it took a few days later before he
so
actually said, "Oh, I thought you must have given up on that because you've set up the cake business and blah blah blah." The bottom line is, in the conversation that I keep having with Kim, is that because so we've been together for the 21 7 years
mhm,
in a couple of months, but because we've had such an easy relationship, we've never had to learn to communicate around
mm,
the stuff that we're not comfortable with or whatever, because um yeah, because we've not had to work hard at it, is what it comes down to. And so that then when we do face challenges, um, we have very, very different ways of dealing with it, and they're not complementary. So he gets angry, and anger directed at me, like personally directed at me, anger directed at me, like through work or whatever, and I'm just like, yeah, whatever, fuck off. And can bounce it off me. But when it's personally directed to me, it causes me to shut down. Not
because
shut down, withdraw.
because of
Oh, we know why.
Yeah, but say it out loud. It's okay. You can say it.
Because of my childhood.
Well, that and also your past relationships. You've
Yeah,
had
yeah, 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 yeah,
yeah.
yeah. And so, yeah,
And it's also an
and then
emotional connection. It's an emotional closeness. Whereas somebody at work is fuck. You don't. The only reason you know them is because of through work. It's like whatever.
yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Emotional.
yeah. I mean, I deal with angry people a lot. With I'm in property management. There's
Yeah.
angry people, and I can I can sit there and take someone going rah 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 at me, not about any of my actions or whatever, but going rah 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 at me,
Yeah, because
and
they
I
have
can get off the phone and go,
their own demons going on. They have their own
yeah,
shit that they're dealing with. I have people with insurance. Last week, I had two people go off their nut at me. I was like, okay, and I was like, you do realize that I'm not the one that's done any of this, and they always end up apologizing to me. I'm like, because I just sit there and I go, you're not trying to kill me. This is nothing, like kind of thing. So same thing. I totally get that. What I want to kind of, and I know that you guys haven't had lots of this, and you haven't had to work through that, but you are now, and you guys are doing a great job at it because you're sitting there looking at it from a different perspective than you would have 12 months ago. You're looking at it as, hey, this is Kim's shit. This is how Kim deals with it. This is how I deal with it. And it's okay. We're working through it and we're growing from it. And if you look at how you guys argued 6 months ago, it'd probably be completely different too when these, not even arguments, these discussions get, brought up, and yeah, some might get heated, blah, blah. The key here for you, D, I think, is let's look at, and you're doing a really good job at it, looking at his perspective. And it's also bouncing it back at him and going, I think the key question you need to ask him here, because it's been from the very beginning around the police thing, why don't you want me to succeed in the police? Because
I
that's
know
what
the
I'm
answer.
saying.
I know the answer.
Yeah, your hallucination is an answer, but
No. He's told me the answer,
okay, what's the answer?
and the answer is that he's worried I'm going to get hurt or worse.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Have you had the discussion that goes further beyond that? Do you know what that discussion is?
How do we?
The discussion
What happens if I get hurt?
well, no, the discussion beyond him saying, I'm worried that you're going to get hurt. Do you know what that discussion is?
Well, like I've said to him, look, I got hurt rowing.
But
Like
it's not. So here's the key thing with it, and I thought that was probably the discussion that you had, explaining it and normalizing it, making it, relating it to something, has nothing to do with that. The conversation that you want to have with him is why, and understand his feelings behind it, and let him say them and get them out. Because otherwise he's sitting there holding on to them inside going, fuck, if Dee joins the police, he probably has all these different things of, you're going to become Matt Hunt at the worst.
Yeah.
But he hasn't been able to voice his emotions and feelings about all of that. I had the same thing with my mom in the very beginning. My mom she was grateful. She was happy that I was going into something that I wanted, but she had those same exact fears. She had the fears that I'd become who I did. Those were the exact fears that she had if I look back on it. Now, my mature self now, if I was rejoining the police and she had those fears, instead of pushing them away and going, no, mom, you're barking up the wrong tree, it's totally fine, and rationalizing it all, I could have gone, okay, what would be your suggestion so that that doesn't happen? What would be your suggestion so that we can overcome this now and, work together through this, instead of creating and putting a wedge in between us because of it?
I made a comment to him the other day, and he was highly offended by it, but I think I hit the nerve, I hit the point. And I said to him, he's always been so supportive. I've always said, if I went home and said to Kim, I'm going to the moon, he'd be like, when are we going, sort of thing. He's always been supportive of whatever I do. And that I said to him that, and like all my like rowing mates and everything, were they were jealous that, like of the fact that Kim would come rowing with me, and well, not rowing, but come to rowing and all that kind of thing with me.
Very supportive of
Um,
it.
and just wanted to be near me and be supportive of me, and that, and I said to him that, like that in all areas of life, he is like that, except when it comes to anything to do with my police application, and that in that I feel that he's only along for the ride. He's not actually
Do you know why?
wanting.
I can tell you exactly why right now, just from what we've had a conversation during this conversation right now. Do you know why?
No.
You already told me. He's
Well,
afraid he's going to get hurt.
yeah.
And
Yeah. Well, I think it goes deeper than that as well, and I think that it is that he's afraid that he'll lose me to it one way or another.
it's not even that. It goes into a masculine guy thing. He can't protect you. He can't protect you. He cannot. There's nothing he can do about it. And this is a subconscious thing. It won't be a conscious thing. I can guarantee it. Probably it might be a conscious thing, but most likely a subconscious thing when it comes to that depth. Same thing when my wife went to South Africa and I was in the depths of my darkness. I didn't say it, but subconsciously it was, I didn't want her to go because she was going to South Africa and I couldn't protect her. And I knew everything, all the different, so I started saying all the things of, do you have security? Are you going to be, who are you going to be with? What's going to be going on? Are you going to be looking, you need to look over your shoulders. You need to watch your back. You need all these negative things. But in saying that, it saved her life when she was over there because I almost got kidnapped. So, it was, that's another story for another day, but, but again, it's the same exact thing. And I don't look at it going, shit, she should have done this, because it is what it is. It's in the past. And she even says that because of, she's got a very good head on her shoulders, but because of my background in the police and that, it also put things into her head of watching out for things. Consciously or subconsciously. I mean, she's a very smart girl regardless of any of that, even if she probably would have been fine even without all of that kind of stuff. But I'm just saying, these are the things that guys want to protect and they want to fix. And so by him, and if you're, as soon as he brings this up, and I'm not saying you're doing it in a negative way or on a purpose way, but, and this goes for anybody who's rewatching this, because I guarantee they'll have people that are negative against them joining the police. And if you don't ever get to the bottom of it, especially if they're close people, it creates a wedge in between you. It created a massive wedge in between me and my mom when it came to my policing stuff, and in between my mom and my wife and the whole relationship, because my thing was, mom does not want me to be a cop because of this X, Y, and Z, which wasn't really the reason. She was just worried about me, which was fair enough. It came true. But if I had actually been mature enough to listen and actually go, why are you so worried? And what is it? Not rationalize it and go and try and shut it down, but go, mom, why? Okay, cool, you get these, but why? Why is it that you're actually worried about all of this stuff? And it probably would have come down to a thing with my mom. You're my little boy, and I don't want you to end up like X, Y, and Z cop that I saw. And I would have, and if I was a mature person, I would have been like, okay, mom, what can I do to make sure that that doesn't happen? Instead of going, this is what I'm going to do. Oh, I'm going to talk about it. I'm going to be okay. I'm a strong boy. I can handle myself. Instead of going, I could have put things in place where I talked to my mom about stuff, where she made, so it would build that relationship better. And, and I'm using my personal experience, and you have to talk to Kim about these in depth and be like, hey, Kim, I get that you're worried that I'm going to get hurt because you've said it. One, I want to find out why you have that fear there, because I can understand it. The police is not a safe job. It is, and it's getting worse out there. But what would make you feel like, feel like things are in place so that I don't, the chance of me getting hurt is less. And let's work it out, because we're in this together.
I think he watches too much American TV.
Well, there's that, there's the TV, there's the movies, and they accentuate it. Have them listen to some of the podcasts of the cops that I've interviewed on my podcast, and they talk about the reality versus the Hollywoodism.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's actually letting him say those things, letting him, and not judging him for them or anything. Not that you necessarily do that on purpose, but literally biting your tongue and going, I don't need to rationalize this to him. Because yes, you would probably have more knowledge from working with me, from knowing other cops and things, but in his head, it doesn't matter. You'll create those irrational things because of past fears, because of things you've seen, people that you've talked to, whatever it is, maybe things that he hasn't told you about. But it's actually, and that's how you bring that relationship even closer as well. Because it's not just the policing side of stuff, it's recognizing, hey, this is actually happens in all sorts of areas. Like my wife and I had a bit of a heated discussion on our way back from Coromandel the other day, last weekend. And it started to talk about the whole, we were talking about the whole welfare thing, and I got really heated and really passionate about it. And she goes, oh, she said something, and I took it as some negative thing, went off on a tangent about it. And she's like, no, that's not what I'm meaning. I'm not saying that that you're being negative. Like I was saying that she was saying that I was being negative and all this different stuff. She's like, no, I'm trying to understand your point of view, because she's like, you don't get this heated and passionate about something very often. Where I'm like, and police stuff I can, but like when it's not police stuff, she's like this and that. And so we literally, but she came not going, fuck, Chris is attacking me about this, but actually going, and I sat there and I went, oh, okay, so she really wants to do this, and we started to talk it out. And so it's the same exact conversation. And so the reason I bring this up is because it'll, you've had this with not just the police stuff, it's come up a few times over the last year around some different things and that. And so it's shifting and just understanding his point of view. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I guess the biggest thing for me is that that I'm used. I've been on my own for a long time. Mm-hmm. Yeah, like and obviously we've been together for a long time. but that I can very, very easily go, I don't need this in my life. I'm not saying I don't need the relationship or whatever, but that I don't need, like, yeah. I don't really know how to put that in words.
No, it makes total sense. I have that when Chris and I'll have an argument about something, and maybe we might fall asleep after having an argument and not clear it up afterwards, and I'll sleep like shit, and it'll go through my head, fuck, why do I need this relationship? I'll just run away because it feels easier. But I always go back to her in the morning because I know it's not the answer. It's the easy way out. I know it's not the answer. And I go, I'm sorry. I apologize for what I said last night and for how I acted. I was a dick. But let's talk this through and let's work it out. And you constantly say that, I've been on my own for a long time, but 7 years is not a short time.
No. No, I think I guess the difference. I guess the thing is the difference between Kim and I is I'm so I'm his third wife. Yep. He's like, I'm not even going to make. It's not even a gender generalization, but like some people need to be with somebody and some people don't. Yeah. And he's the person that needs to be with somebody that hasn't had huge periods in his life where he's been on his own. Yeah. Whereas I'm a person who doesn't need to be with somebody. I'm with somebody because I choose to be, not because I need. Yep. Yeah. Does that make sense?
It makes total sense, and the reason your guys' relationship has been so good for so long is because you both just accepted that. But I'll tell you this right now, D, because you're wanting to do the police, and he's actually now not just going along with whatever it is, he's actually now vocalizing his fears. It's starting to create that little bit of a turmoil because it's not something you're used to in your relationship. You're used to, I can do my own thing. He's there, he's with me, and he's always there. Whereas now it started going this thing of, oh, he's not there. What's going on here? And so for you, you're going, actually, I need him and I want him. which you already did, but you're actually, it's starting to be that thing of, oh fuck, this is actually causing turmoil where I could lose him. Not that you will, but it subconsciously it has that little niggle going on. And so in turn, your mind is going, oh shit, but you're working through it and you're working on it because you're growing at the same time. You're not the person you were 12 months ago.
No.
You came to me and you said, I want to be able to, I'm able to drive, I'm able to push hard in my rowing, and I want to be able to do that in other areas of my life. But at the same time, I also want to be soft and gushy. And you have grown that soft and gushy side a lot more. And so in turn, it's that, because and I hope I don't say this the wrong way, but after your past relationship, you became very hard, very strong and hard, and stand on my own 2 feet, get the fuck out of my way, hold my beer. And so you had this outer shell on you, which I could see in the very beginning when we first met. There's this outer hard shell, this armor that was on. You've taken a lot of that armor off. And so but when you take that armor off, then it creates more vulnerability. And so when you have Kim here actually going, hey, there's some vulnerability, there's this vulnerability I haven't seen before. There's this Diana I haven't seen before. And now he's actually going, I'm actually worried about the police stuff, and feeling like he can actually say it. And again, I haven't met him, I haven't talked to him, so I'm just hallucinating here on things. But from what I've seen from your side of the story, from your side of the conversation, and so he's actually saying stuff, but then as soon as he says those few things, that armor comes back on.
Yeah. And like I always say, we're very different people. I'm very practical. We're very practical, overthinker, think it all the scenarios through, and in my head I've got a plan.
Yeah.
I've always got a plan. And whereas he's not so much. Like
it's more emotional.
Yeah, he is more emotional. That's what I keep saying, I'm the man in our relationship.
But you're not. You have this feminine side that you're actually starting to tap into. You were this very masculine woman, which was fine, but deep down inside, you're actually quite feminine. But you've had this armor of masculinity going on, which is now kind of shedding, and you're falling into that more feminine, which is allowing him to stand a little bit more into the masculine side of stuff. And he's actually going, hey, I'm worried about you joining the police. But as soon as he does that, because you have this plan in your head, and so that masculine side comes back, and he's sitting, and then he gets shut down, and he goes, and so his masculinity gets cut down. And so then you end up with these two masculinities. Same thing happened with Chris and I. You get these two masculinities that butt heads against each other. Because I started to become very masculine in my role and what I was doing in that. But Kristen was used to that feminine side. She had this masculinity from work, corporate world, blah, blah, blah. And sometimes the feminine, but a lot of times then we'd get into something, and something we brought up.
Yeah, you're meeting on the same path, whereas usually it would be like, one would be here, one,
It'd be the yin and yang would be working together. Chris and I now, yin and yang work together all the time. Because I've been, and I dropped more into it, not as much as sometimes she wants, and blah, blah, but there's always obviously playing with it. But what I'm saying is that it's actually looking at him from that perspective of, hey, he's actually now voicing up and being the person. He's actually saying stuff that he actually is concerned about. And so it's actually listening to it and recognizing that you're putting that armor back up. And also looking in yourself, why am I putting that armor back up? What am I afraid of looking at? Is there a subconscious thing of, oh, fuck, there is a little bit of that fear in there of I might get hurt? Or is it, just that I don't want to listen to it because, nah, fuck, that can't happen?
I think it's I think it's almost you can't tell me what to do.
Yeah. Again, that masculine hard armor from the past of having a domestic relationship where you were told what to do all the time and you did not want it. You completely went, no, fuck, I'm not going back there. But Kim's not that person.
No.
And
And
you
that's
know
the thing, you know, I said that to him the other day. I said to him, you know, like I know my faults.
that.
You know, I know that when, um, you know, that when he comes, when he gets really upset about something and he comes at me with any anger, I know that I withdraw. I know that's what I do. That is learnt long behavior. I'm trying to change that. But that he also has to understand that he can't come at me with that anger. That if he comes at me with that full on anger, that is the response I'm going to have.
Yeah.
But whereas if he doesn't let it get to the point where it is that anger and actually tells me and has the conversation with me rather than coming at me, that then he's going to get a better response from me.
It's also in that same thing is setting up things for when that does happen. You know, you could have a safe word as such. You know, you could have a thing where, you know, you touch him on the shoulder and you go, Kim, it's happening. And if you talk about that when you're in conversation like we are now, and he knows that that does happen because you've already had that conversation in the past, then then it can be like a thing of he knows that you're not just being a dick about it. This is your feelings, because nobody can tell you what your feelings are.
No.
And so it's the same thing.
And that gets my back up as well.
Yeah, it's the same thing. Understanding though from him as well, as if he's saying that I'm making shit up here. I'm not feeling understood. Then it needs to spark something in you to go, hey, wait a second, Kim's not feeling understood. Okay, let's rephrase this. Let's figure out how we can make him feel understood, or how we can help him feel understood. And that's how we do it. Because
he said to me the other day, he was like, he said, you just all the time you're just filling your life with stuff. And if you don't do something, if you can't do something, so like obviously at the moment playing netball and row, he's like, you fill it with other stuff. And I'm like, yes, that's what I've done from the day you and I have met. Is my life is full of stuff because I'm like, fuck it, I'm gonna give it a go.
Yeah.
For too long, that I get suppressed, I guess, by my family childhood, by my children's father. Then, stuck it. Like I was a teen mother with 3 young children that financially I wasn't able to do things. Whereas now I'm just like, fuck it, I'm going to try everything. Something pops into my head, I'm like, fuck yeah, I'll give that a go.
So here's the thing that I think, because you've said it before, he's felt like, there's no time for him in that, and I know you've been doing better at it, but it's also setting things up so that he knows, like, now that I'm going to a Monday to Friday job and I'm actually doing it, I know that I have to, and I already talked to my wife about it. The one thing I'm worried about doing a 9 to 5 Monday to Friday is that I don't have me time. And when I say me time, normally I'll do my me time when Kristen's working or something like that. I mean, I've never done a Monday to Friday 9 to 5 ever, my entire life. So it's something completely new to me, because I've always done shift work or retail, so I'd have days off in the middle of the week or whatever it was. And so I said this to her, and she's like, well, we just have to prioritize it. I was like, but my thing is the weekends are us time. The weekends are for us. She's like, but we'll figure it out. We'll work through it, because we'll communicate on it. And I think this is key. I think out of this whole conversation, the key thing here for you, I think, is communicating in maybe even a different way with Kim. Because he's saying a lot of stuff and I'm hearing a lot of stuff through you. So I don't actually know. So I'm hearing it third party interpreted through your brain. So it goes into the interpretator and comes out. And
how do we filter and come
out? Fuck knows actually what was said. But what I'm getting out, and the common thing that I'm getting out, is he's not feeling heard. So the communication aspect there is something's breaking down in there. And so there's some interpretation filter going on that needs to be worked on. And it's having those conversations and actually being, and I'm not saying you're not doing it, but being honest and going, hey, Kim, I realized that this is possibly the common thread. Is this true, for one, because I might be interpreting it? Or I learned it from Tony, the hallucination. You hear me say it all the time. I think my hallucination is, because it's not I think, it's my hallucination. So in other words, I don't fucking actually know what it is. My hallucination is this is going on. Because then it gives them the opportunity to go, yeah, you're fucking hallucinating about that. That's not actually what I said. And they'll say what they said. And then you have to go, oh yeah, sweet, cool. And then you take it as that. And if you're hallucinating on that, you want to clarify it. Hey, I'm hallucinating that you just said that, and it means this. Because otherwise, we have no fucking clue what people are saying.
No. Well, that's I asked him the other day, and I said to him, well, what is it? What is it that you're wanting? What are you trying to? Yeah. He's like, I want to spend more time with you, and I'm like, okay, that's fine. What would you like to do? And he's like, what do you mean? And I'm like, well, like, what would you like to do? Like, and he's like, I don't know.
So here's a different
since I've been injured. No, since I've been injured, we've spent more time together. And how our nights go is that because he starts work so early and I don't, we're on different schedules sort of thing. So our time together goes, I race home from work somewhere between 6 and 8 o'clock. I cook dinner for the whole fucking household. I clean up. I get Kim falls asleep on the couch or plays PlayStation, and then he goes to bed.
So here's the thing. Here's the key thing. Kristen gets pissed off because she'll ask, what do I want to do? And I'm like, I don't know. Because at the end of the day, fuck, I don't really care. And I'll say the same thing. I want to spend more time with you. And she'll be like, well, what do you want to do? And it's like, well, it's not what I want to do. It's how I want to spend time with you. For me, spending time with her and feeling connected to her is us cuddling. Us sitting on the couch. I can sit on the couch and watch TV with her and just put my arm around her. Or sometimes having conversation with her. Her spending time with me is us having deep and meaningful conversations or doing something fun. Two totally different times together. So instead of asking, what do you want to do? How do you want to spend time together? What does spending time together mean for you? Because it could be him sitting there playing PlayStation and you sitting next to him. And yes, that sounds like hell. That sounds like hell to you, but it could be you do it for 20 minutes with him and you go, sweet, cool. Or it could be that while he's playing PlayStation, you're on your laptop doing some work, but that's spending time with it. That's for him, that's spending time. I'm not saying that's exactly what it is, but you get my gist. But then it's the same thing as if you feel like a need of yours isn't being met, you communicate the same thing to him. Because we all have different needs and they're all met in different ways.
It's funny, isn't it?
Very funny. But what normally what we do
so different.
Well, I'm with somebody that's completely different than me as well. But what we normally do, and Chris and I have identified it because we've done so many different courses in that, I'm telling you it for literally almost free, is what we normally do is we do what we want done to us. So I'll repeat that. We do what we want done to us. So if he is playing PlayStation, he's chilling, he's whatever, that's normally what we want done to us. We just want to chill with somebody. For me, I'm happy to chill on the couch, watch TV, and just spend time with Kristen. When she's on her phone, it winds me right up because it doesn't feel like she's actually spending time with me. Even though watching the TV and being on the phone is the same exact thing, but because they're both going at the same time, it's like, nah. But for her, she can sit there because she can fucking have a million different tabs open on the Google bar in her brain. She can be doing the same thing, and for her, it's totally fine. But her thing is not touch. Her thing is words of affirmation and quality time. So they're two totally different things. She loves us going for a walk and spending time together and having conversation. I'm not a huge fan of going for walks. But I can't do it because I know, one, it's good for my health, two, the dogs need it, and most importantly, she enjoys it.
Yeah.
And we had this conversation Chris and I had this conversation a while back. And I was like, she's like, oh, you know, we don't do blah, blah, blah. We don't do things together. And, you know, there was, you know, a thing going, you know, it was being said in the heat of the moment. And then I was like, I go for walks with you all the time. I was like, you think I would enjoy going for a walk? I hate going for a walk. I did my motorcycle trip. And if I couldn't see it from the road or from my bike, I didn't fucking go see it. I was like, I'm that guy. Unless it's something that's absolutely spectacular, I ain't going to go walk and see it. But I'm going for walks with you because I know spending time, quality time with me, not sitting in front of the TV is important to you. So
Yeah, well, that's coming on.
yeah, and this is the thing, and this is why I'm telling you this, is because you can actually, if you communicate these things and you figure them out, then you can bring that together. Yes, it might not be something that you totally 100% lights you up, but it should light you up because it's lighting that other person up. Not as much as something.
But I also think that, but I guess the thing, I think maybe the point is in this whole thing, and it's not become tit for tat, but like his expectations of me. So he's expecting me to do these things, but actually not giving anything back in return. So like, yeah,
it's bringing that up. But let me ask you this: when you were, and you've already said it tonight, so I know it's true. When you were going to netball games, when you were going to rowing, was he there?
For rowing was, not for netball,
yeah.
But yeah,
the rowing, he was there. But because he has this underlying thing, which you've already said you've asked him and identified about when it comes to the police, which is the most important, one of the most important things to you right now, and he's not there, it's tit for tat. But look at other things that you're doing that he is there. And if there isn't anything, bring it up to him. Be like, hey, I really appreciate, and again, how you word it means all the difference. Same thing when he does it to you. I really appreciated it when when I was rowing, that you were there all the time.
Yeah, that's what I said that to him the other day.
But I feel like now that I'm not rowing and it's all this police stuff, which I understand you have some fears around, I feel like I'm not getting that same response in any other ways. Tell me if I'm wrong. Because it gives him the opportunity to go, actually, I'm doing it here, here, and here. Just like I did with Kristen going for walks and that. Because she didn't see it. That way, and that's how you, because you don't sit there and, you know, when you go, I'm not getting my needs met and I feel like you're doing this and you're doing that and you're doing this, it shuts somebody down. You think about when he does it to you. I sat here and I said, Diana, you have to do this and you need to do this. And why aren't you doing this? And why aren't you going for runs? And why aren't you training? And why blah, 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 blah. You'd go, fuck you, Chris. And you wouldn't turn up for 3 weeks. or you cancel being with me.
I could go one or two ways.
Yeah. And sometimes I do have to do that. I have to go, Diana, fucking get your ass into gear and let's move. But it's actually more impactful and actually does more if I sit there and I go, tell you stories about my stuff related to what you're already talking about. And then ask you, is this what's going on? Is this what you're hearing? Is he saying this or is he actually saying this? And here's some ideas on how to twist and shape it so you can do it just like we did last week, which worked.
Yeah. And I think, you know, for him as well, yeah, his previous relationship was not a good one. She used to, didn't sound like she, like she used to try and push him, like intentionally make him really, really angry, and you know,
which is where that anger comes from, because that'll be sparking a trigger in him.
Yeah, and then also his father was quite a violent man.
And so these are the key things that I want to, you know, we'll start to wrap it up, but I want to really focus. I want to really, you know, I was at, when Chris and I were at the Tony Robbins Date with Destiny thing, the two of them, which have a great relationship in that, Tony and Sage, they talk about, we put these sticky notes, the little post-it sticky notes that we talked about last week. You put these sticky notes onto people and all these different things on, especially on your loved one, your relationship. You put all these sticky notes on them that say, oh, they did this and they did that, and there's this and there's that, and they're doing this, blah, blah, blah. And next thing, eventually you can't even see them.
Mm.
And what it is it's actually peeling those off and going, that one doesn't fuck, those don't fucking matter, those don't matter. And then once you actually can see the person, every time you go to put a sticky note on there going, is it really fucking true or not? And then also actually communicating it with the person.
Mm. Mm.
Most relationships fall over because nobody's actually communicating. I'm not talking
Yeah,
about,
yeah.
I'm talking about actually communicating, not just talking
Yeah.
to the other person, but communicating. This is how I feel, and I understand you don't see it, and having that honesty in that, hey, I'm not always right, and I will interpret things differently because of X, Y, and Z, or just that I interpret things differently. So this is my hallucination that this is going on. Is that actually what you meant?
Mm. Yeah. Because that's why I said that. I think the thing is that I think sometimes he doesn't bring things up with me, um, because his fear around, past history and all that kind of stuff of his own, that he doesn't actually bring it up with me, until the point that until it reaches the point where it comes out as anger.
Yeah, bubble.
Whereas if he actually, yeah. Whereas if he actually um, came to me and said, halfway along the process and said, I'm not feeling good about this or whatever, rather than getting that far down the process, and
So
that it comes,
so communicate that to him, Diana.
yeah, yeah,
And communicate it in a way of going, and this is where you can go. This is where, I'll do this with friends. I'll do this with Kristen. I'll do this with, not, we don't so much need to do it anymore, but we used to, is I'd go, you say, look, Diana, this is how I'm feeling. I'm not saying it's the truth, but this is how I'm feeling, is that you're holding things in until next thing we have, something happens and you explode at me, when it really has nothing to do with what actually the situation was. It has something to do with something in the past that then gets brought back up. And so it becomes this nasty argument thing that we have. You can give some examples if you want to. And then you go, what I think might work a little bit better for us, and it would work better for me, is if you actually said, as soon as something was going on, you had a little feeling or inkling of something, you came to me. Now, I'm not always going to like what you say, because I might not always like what you say, but I will appreciate and I will do my best to actually acknowledge it and do what I can to alter it, or something along those lines. Because then you're actually going, hey, look, I'm not putting this on you. It's not your fault. It's a team thing. And I
mm-mm.
know that I'm not going to be
Yeah,
perfect. I know you're
yeah.
not going
Hear
to be
me
perfect.
and I'll hear you, kind of. Yeah.
Yeah, I know I'm not going to be perfect. I know you're not going to be perfect, but we're going to let's see if we can let's work this through, because I feel like this is going to be a better thing.
Mm.
Same thing, but I think a big one for you guys right now would be to conquer that police mountain.
Yeah, yeah.
And it literally, the question only has to be, why do you feel that way? I want to know your honest feelings around it. Because I know I have mine, but I'm the one in it. You're on the outside, and I want to know why you feel like I'm going to get hurt. And they'll say some stuff, and some of it will be literally just surface stuff. And you go, okay, cool, I get that. But why do you feel that way? What's the real feeling behind it? Why do you feel like I'm going to get hurt? Why are you worried about it? Not putting anything on him, but I guarantee it'll be something around the fact of, he doesn't want you. One, he doesn't want you to get hurt, obviously. But why do you feel like, I'm going to get hurt? And then it's actually asking him what you guys need to do to make sure that the communication, to make sure that you can help prevent it. Some of it you're not going to be able to. If he talks about physical pain and physical hurt, which is normally surface stuff, is that, it's okay, cool. Well, there's nothing that he can actually do, but he can help you with. It comes to, maybe it's the fact that he supports you in doing some sort of external martial arts type thing so that it can help protect you. My dad, he bought me a Glock and paid for my firearms license and training, like taking me to the range and stuff like that, because that was his fear, and I can see it now. It was he wanted to make sure that if shit hit the fan and I had a gun in my hand, I knew how to use it. My mom's was all the emotional side of stuff, and I squashed it all away. And guess what happened? I got fucked up emotionally.
Mums know stuff.
Oh, mom's definitely knows stuff. But these are the things, D, that I, over the next week, especially on that police side of stuff, because that's the biggest, I feel, from what you're saying to us in the group and stuff like that. That's the biggest semi-argument that is coming up.
Yeah. It just seems to be a roadblock.
Yeah.
Anytime it comes up.
Yeah. And once you overcome that, then it can actually be overcome, and you can use the same tactics to overcome other things that kind of come up. But that's the biggest one that I feel at the moment is coming up, and that's the whole reason for this whole conversation tonight, is just giving you tools to be able to actually, not conquer it, but just discuss through it with him. Because it's just, you guys have grown so much through through the last year and that a bit anyways. And this is just taking it to that next level, because I can guarantee you something else is going to fucking come up. It might not be, and it might not be you. It might be something to do with him.
Yeah. No, that's my friend. She always knows when the police things come up, because she'll come in and she'll be like, "Oh, how are you?" She'll come into the office. She'll, "How are you?" I'll be like, "Oh, yeah, right. How's Kim?" "Oh, I want to punch him in the throat." But I never would.
No, you wouldn't. I know exactly what you mean. But this is the thing: is that if it's that kind of regularity thing, you need to overcome it. Otherwise, that little molehill is going to become a mountain.
Yeah, and that's it. Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And I have many dreams, and
I
don't want to give them up because somebody tells me I have to.
No, but you want, you care about him enough that you want him to be along. You want him to come along with you, and you want to be along for his dreams.
Yeah.
So, there you go. So, what's your plan this week? What are you going to be doing?
We're going to be communicating about communicating.
Perfect. I like it. That's the one. Good work, D. Yeah, no, well done. Keep us in the loop. Let us know how your communicating to communicate goes. And yeah, if there's any speed bumps or anything kind of come up, just let us all know.
No, we'll be fine. We're like mad trying to find a house to buy now.
Okay.
Our house had weird open homes today and yesterday, and they've had some massive number of people, and people are talking money and all that kind of thing, and then we're going, fuck, we've got nowhere to go. And then I just adopted the kid. So last week I was ultra stressed about it. Now I'm just like, fuck it. We'll end up where we're meant to end up.
Exactly. That's the one.
Yeah, if we've got to put our stuff in storage and us and our dogs go to an Airbnb that sits dogs for 6 weeks or whatever, so be it. If someone wants to pay me the right price for the house, then they can have it.
Yeah, exactly. Somebody's willing to write you that big of a check. Who cares? You'll figure it out. So awesome, D. Well, we'll see you next week. And yeah, keep us in the loop this week. And if there's anything else that you need, just let us know. And also let me know if anything new is coming up with that ankle and that as it does.
Yeah. Well, hopefully, hopefully, I see the physio next Friday. I think it is.
All right, sweet, cool.
Yeah, cool. And on my sheet, which I didn't have anything, I think it's in my car. It's written all these exercises, and then in great big writing, written balance. And so he just wants me standing like a flamingo on my foot.
Yeah.
Really trying to connect that brain and ankle thing back up.
Yeah. Mind muscle connection, and ligament connection. No, perfect. Cool. Awesome, Dave. Well, we'll see you next week. We'll talk throughout the week. All right. Bye.